Good morning, everyone. It is 9 o'clock. Actually, it's 8:59. But can be a minute early, can be a minute late. It's okay. Now it's 9 exactly. I hope everyone is well and happy, and I hope that we are having a great day. I hope that we are having a great day. I am certainly having a great day. But now I just wanted to check something before we start because it's Thursday. Right. I wanted us to have a little conversation. And the question I want to ask you guys is that starting from Monday, what have you guys been able to understand, or what have you understood about capacity in general? When we speak about capacity, what have you found yourself understanding and being able to be like, no, I get that, or I don't get that, or I understood that, or I'm not too clear on that, I'm not sure about that? Like, what have you found, especially about capacity, that you've actually understood? So you can raise your hand and then we can have a conversation to say, what have you actually understood about capacity? Is it still a bit confusing? Do you still get a bit lost? What have you guys understood about capacity? Anyone? Awesome.
Hello,
Good morning. How are you?
fine, thanks, and you, sir?
I'm excellent. I am excellent.
Well,
I am.
sir,
What have you been able to understand about capacity?
I think I have been able to understand. I've been able to understand the when you convert from milliliters to liters,
All right.
and I've been able to understand um how do you plus milliliters and make them liters. Like, for example, 6,700 milliliters plus 300 milliliters will give you 7 liters.
So you've been able to understand conversion.
Yes,
You've been
sir.
able to understand the difference between liters and milliliters.
Yes, sir.
And then you've also been able to understand how we add and subtract them. Or you've
Yes,
been
sir.
able. All right. Okay. Beautiful. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Let me also check the chat so I can be fair. So I can also be fair. I see that someone says, I understood volume and capacity and converting from milliliters to liters. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? What have you understood? As we've been going along and learning, what have you understood?
Sir?
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm excellent. So what have you been able to understand as we've been going along learning capacity?
I was able to understand what we use and also what capacity means.
Mm-hmm.
But I am still having some struggles how we can add capacity and mostly the numbers.
Okay. We will touch on that. Right, guys, here's my Twitter. Here's my email. I saw I got a message yesterday on Twitter. I responded to it. If there's anything else that you guys would need from me, you can use both of them. Both of them work. Right. So some of you have a problem with the adding of capacity. It's fine. When it comes, okay, so as we know, capacity is the amount of potable liquid or any other potable substance a container. So we look at liquids when we speak about capacity. And then we spoke that capacity, we also estimate capacity. I'll touch on that once we've covered adding and subtracting of capacity. Right. Now, when we find out the conversion part, we either multiplying or we're dividing, right? So when we want to move from liters to milliliters, we what? We multiply. When we go from milliliters to liters, we divide. Why? Because milliliters is less than liters, and liters are more than milliliters. As I made an example yesterday that I still remember, I asked you if someone came to you and said, I have a bottle of 250 milliliters of cold drink, and another person comes to you and says, I have a bottle of 2 liters of cold drink. Which one would you take, or which one is more? And you would say that the 2 liters, because remember we even spoke about saying that a 250 milliliters is a quarter of a liter. Right. So now let us move right along. Oh, I see that we have questions. Hello. Morning. Okay. Not working. I take that we don't have questions at all. I saw someone raise their hands. All right. So I see that there's a question. There are questions. Let me take a question, because now I was checking that I saw that the hand was raised, but I think there's a problem with the mic, but it's fine. Let me take a question.
Morning, sir.
Hello.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
Good morning.
How are you, sir? Oh my God.
I'm excellent, and how are you?
Fine, thanks. And how are you?
I'm excellent, and how are you?
Fine.
I am excellent,
sir,
and how are you?
Fine. So, sir, the question.
I'm fine. You have a question for me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you have a question. Yes, you have a question for me.
Sir, I am struggling with volume and capacity.
Capacity. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. No problem at all. That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
All right. I will clear that up. I think the problem might be that some of you might have not been with us prior to this, that you might have not been with our classes prior to this. So I will just do a quick recap before I move along. Yes, I think it's because prior to this lesson, you guys were not here. I do not blame you at all if you were not here. I understand. I truly understand. I truly understand. It's fine. Right. So when we've been doing this, we've been looking at capacity, and we understood that. Let me go back so we can have a proper recap. We understood that since capacity is the amount of potable liquid, we're looking at two things now in grade 4, milliliters and liters. And then understanding that we're looking at milliliters and liters. I'll come. We understand that there'll be a time whereby I need to convert a liter to a milliliter and a milliliter to a liter. We understand one thing, that 1 liter, because the ratio that we are working with is that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. So for every liter that you have, right, 1,000 milliliters. Hence, I always say people must refer to the drinks that we normally have. If we have a 500 milliliter bottle and I want a liter, if I send you and say, bring me a liter of cold drink, and you find that they're only selling 500 milliliter bottles, you are going to bring me 2. Why? Because you understand that 500 that a liter is made up of 1,000 milliliters, right? And understanding that is that, hence when we convert, we're going to use the number 1,000, either to move from liters to milliliters or milliliters to liters. That's why I always told people that when you add liters or milliliters together and you reach 1,000, we're no more talking about milliliters anymore. Now you're talking about liters. That's when you are not converting and you're adding, right? So this is what we've been doing so far. We understood to say that there's something called, there's a measurement for liquids, that one is liters, the other one is milliliters. And to convert between the two, we use 1,000. One, we multiply to get the other one, and the other one divide to get the other one. If I want to find out how many liters, how many milliliters are in a liter, I'm going to multiply. If I want to find out how many milliliters are in, how many moving from the milliliters to the liters, I'm going to divide. It's simple as that. It is simple as that. Right. As I see, there's an example. As I see, there's an example saying that 2,000 milliliters equals 2 liters. Perfect. 2,000 milliliters equals 2 liters. Because the ratio is that for every liter, there's 1,000 milliliters. Do we understand thus far? And I'm asking specifically people who have not been with us within the week. Do we understand that part? Then I'm going to move on to the adding and subtracting. That was just a recap, just to understand what we did right before we started saying, now let us add and subtract capacity. We first understand capacity is the amount of pourable liquid a container can hold. We understand that it's units of measure that we're looking at now, that we're focusing on, are milliliters and liters. And that we understand that for every liter, there's 1,000 milliliters. Do we understand that now? Especially those who've just come. Good. So now we've captured that. We've captured that. Those who do not have this, please write it down, because this is very important for conversion. This is very crucial for conversion. Please have it down. I hope my recap was, I'm not saying detailed enough, but I hope my recap was for you to be able to understand it well. Okay, awesome. I see I have hands. Let me go right down to my hands. Oh, where are my hands? Okay. How do you move? Okay, let me just. Who has a hand? I want to see. Right? Okay. I seem not to be finding their hands. All right. Can you please ask the chat the question privately to me in the chat? Can you please ask the question privately to me in the chat? But if you are done writing this down, can you please also use the chat to tell me done? If you're done writing this down, can you also use the chat to tell me that you're done? If you're done writing this down, can you please also use the chat to tell me that you're done? If you're done writing this down, please, please, please. All right, I've seen that people are done writing this down. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right. Okay. Let's move right along. So when we add, I want to go to measurement. Yes, adding without conversion. There are times where you are going to add, right? You are going to add without converting, right? As example, 5 liters, 100 milliliters plus 5 liters, 115 milliliters. Right. Add. Once you've reached 1,000, especially when you're adding the milliliters, it becomes a liter. This is in this type of question. Once you've reached 1,000, it becomes a liter. Let me do this. Right? Sorry. Right? Right. It becomes a liter. If I had hypothetically 700, right? I had 700. I'm just putting this on the side. I had 750 milliliters, and I want to add that to 250 milliliters. I'm going to reach 1,000. And once I reach 1,000 milliliters, this becomes a full liter. Right. This becomes a full liter, but this is without conversion. Let me go to an example of it. This is with conversion. Okay, right. This is without conversion, right? You have 250 plus 750 plus 250. And when you add the two, this becomes 1,000. Because isn't it, this is a milliliters, right? Right? So this is milliliters. And since that you add the two, once you add the two, this becomes what? 1,000. This becomes 1,000. This 1,000 milliliters is equal to what? How many liters? This now becomes what? Is equal to 1. It's equal to 1 liter. It's equal to 1 liter. Right. I have a question. Hello. Morning. Good morning. Okay. I don't have a question anymore. Right. So I want us now to also talk about subtraction. Right. I hope we've understood. Let me try and unmute again. Good morning. Morning.
Sir,
Morning. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. You have a question?
So why? So in capacity. So
Yes.
I'm struggling with most of the numbers because like from yesterday I did not really understand the numbers that you gave me. 1 point something or
the decimals. The decimals. I'm gonna touch on that. I'm gonna touch on that in an example now.
Okay. Thank you.
Touch on that in an example now.
Okay.
Right. Are there any other questions? Good morning. Morning.
Morning, Sam.
Yes. Do you have a question?
Yes, Sam.
Your question is?
So, Sam, I don't understand. I don't understand the when you have to minus capacity. I don't understand that one.
I'm gonna touch on that now.
Yes, Sam.
I'm gonna touch on that now. Fine. We're going to do examples, guys. I just wanted us to get the gist of addition. But this would be without conversion. So you add the liters with the liters, the milliliters with the milliliters. The minute you reach 1,000 here, it becomes a liter. Then we speak about subtraction. When we are subtracting, we take away. We take away. Addition you put together. But when we speak about subtraction, you are taking away. You are saying that now, when I'm minusing, I want to take away. That is subtraction. That is subtraction for you. Is that you are taking away from something. So obviously, when we are subtracting, right, we would never, right? It would not be wrong in the sense of saying 1 liter minus 250 milliliters. As digits, yes, the comparison may look that the milliliters are more than the liters, but because we know that liters are more than milliliters, so it makes sense, right? And when we take away, it's also possible that you first start with the subtraction, then convert. If they want to say, no, change the liters into milliliters, you can first start with the subtraction, then convert, or you can first, firstly convert, then subtract. It's really up to you. But one thing you must learn is that in subtraction, we take away. They say 75 liters minus 55 liters. 75 liters minus 55 liters is what? 20 liters. Then they want this in milliliters. You convert it to multiply by 1,000, because when you change liters into milliliters, you multiply, you have 20,000 milliliters. Same thing this side. When we're subtracting, we first subtract at times you can subtract, because here they want it in milliliters. You subtract the liters with liters, milliliters with liters. 10 liters minus 5 liters will give you 5. 500 milliliters minus 300 milliliters will give you 200. Then you just convert. So I would convert the liters first. I would convert the liters into milliliters. So I multiply that by 1,000. Then I would have 5,200. But I will elaborate on that as we move along. Let's start here. So I want to add with conversion. 24 liters plus 34 plus 34,200 200 milliliters, and I want this in liters. I would convert this first into into liters, and this would be dividing. How would I divide this? Right, let me show you that trick. I write it out. I say I have 34,200, right? And I want to know this in liters. I want to divide this by 1,000. Remember I told you guys a trick. I would start by putting my decimal point here. And dividing this by 1,000, I move my decimal point 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So 34,200 is actually equal to 34.2 liters. If I wanted this back into milliliters, I'd multiply by 1,000. And multiplying by 1,000, you would have this 34. This is now back into liters, right? You would have 34, all right, 34.2. And then you want back into liters. So I go 1, 2, 3. So as liters, wherever I jumped and there's nothing, I put a 0. So as milliliters, it's what? 34,200. That's how it works out. 34,200. And then I say 24 liters plus 34.2 gives me 58.2 liters. The multiplying by 1,000, dividing by 1,000, all you need to know is that when I am now multiply, especially when you're dividing, right? When you're dividing, you move to the left using decimals. When you're dividing, you move to the left. When you're multiplying, you move to the right. But it only changes, the story only changes if you find a situation whereby you are saying that you want to change 24 liters, right, into milliliters. There I multiply 24 times 1,000. And if I'm converting this, I know that 24, right? 24 times 1,000 gives me what? 24,000. Gives me 24,000. Are there any questions? Do we have any questions? You must know that, look, I have 34.2 liters. I'm multiplying it by 1,000. I take this decimal point, I move it 3 jumps. If I want to divide the 34 this into liters, and I'm dividing, I move from the right to the left to get 34.2. But in a normal circumstance where I'm just dividing and multiplying a normal number, it becomes like that. Are there any questions? Do we understand this? Please write this example down. Are there any questions? Please write down this example. This is now addition part. This is now addition part. If we're doing it without conversion, I want you to also speak about without conversion. Oh, good. I have hands. It's important that we have hands. Hello? Hello?
So how do you know? How do you know when you need decimals?
How do you know when you need a decimal? Is that the question?
Yes,
All right. Let me give you an idea. Nah? I give you a number like 24. Nah? 24 liters. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
I give you a number like 24. Okay, let me say I give you a number like 24,500. Right. Now, you know that the 500 in 24,500 is milliliters, right? Remember that if you were to have a number like this, if I were to have a number like 54,000, eh? 600. Do you see?
Yes,
if I have
sir.
a number like 54, do you see 54,600, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. And then I have, let me just do this quickly because there's a lot of background noise where you are. but it's fine. I have 54,600, guys. Now, the 54,000 part of this, right, would be my liters part. Because this is in the thousands, please, guys. If I would break it down, this speaks about the 1,000. This is 600. 600, normally in a number like this would be what my milliliter is. If I were to separate it, this would be my milliliters, this would be my liters. How would I know that I'm going to get a decimal? Is when I find a situation like this. Because I know that if I'm dividing it by 1,000, right, the point is going to come here. Because always it's going to be that the 1,000 one, the one that always speaks to say, no, I'm 1,000 in this number, is my liters. Even if you say 1,320, the 1,000 in milliliters will always be the liters, and the 100 will always stay as milliliters. That's why I remember I told you guys to say that when you're adding milliliters and you reach 1,000, it becomes what? A liter. It becomes what? A liter. It becomes what? A liter. Do we understand? Do we understand? Look, for example, we have, this would be part of the thousands. This would be the hundreds. So as I said that, hundreds that have not reached 1,000 remain milliliters. And then those that are 1,000 are the liters. Hence, you know that this, you'd find a decimal. That's the trick about it. Hence, you'd know that, oh, but in that situation, you'd find a decimal. In that situation there, that's a decimal. Because this 200 here, this 200 would not form part of the liters. It forms part of the milliliters. But we convert it to make more sense. Because then this would, because it's asking to say, no. I want as a decimal, how would I be as liters? Then you'd be a decimal. Because this itself, the 0.2 means that this itself is not a liter. It still forms part of the milliliters. Remember that all milliliters that have not become 1,000 are stay milliliters. Even if you're plusing, saying 750 milliliters plus 200 milliliters, it stays milliliters. It's not reached 1,000, it does not become liters. Do we understand? So I can move right along to subtraction. I don't want to dwell on this. I want to move to subtraction quickly. Then we do a few examples and then we're done. Do we understand? So I can move to subtraction, I explain subtraction, and then we move on. Beautiful, beautiful. Are we done writing this down? Are we done? Can I also get notification if we're done writing it down? Are we done writing it down? Are we done? Are we done writing it down? Beautiful. Let's move right along. Subtraction. In milliliters, I have 55 liters, subtract 2,876. As liters, this would be the liter. This would be 2,000 liter, 2 liters, 876 milliliters. I must subtract. So I convert this into milliliters. So I multiply 55,000. 55 times 1,000 would give me 55,000. I subtract the 2. My answer will be, because remember that you'd have to borrow. So you start. You can't subtract from 0. So I would have to start from here. This becomes a 4. This becomes a 4. This one here, it was first a 10. Then I'd have to borrow from it. So it would become 9. Then my friend next door would become a 10. Then I'd have to borrow again because I need to come this side. So this one would become 9. Then eventually my last number here would become a 10. So I say 10 minus 7 is 3. 6 minus 9 is 3. 9 minus 8 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 minus nothing stays the same. So it's 5,200, but no, 52,133 milliliters. As liters, I'm saying, it is 52,000. Sorry, it's 52 liters, 52 liters and 133 milliliters from site. Just from site, this would be 52,000 liters, 133 milliliters. If I were to convert this, this would become a decimal. To say, no, convert me back into liters. Can you please convert me back into liters? So I'd have this number, and I need to divide it by what? I'm dividing it by what? 1,000. So I'm going to use the whole decimal point. And I'll have 52, right? And then I start with my decimal point. I start with my decimal point behind the numbers. And I start my point here, 1, 2, 3. So my answer would be 52 point, right? Point, because I'm dividing it by 1,000, right? So it'd be 52.11133 liters. That's how it is. Nothing more, nothing less. 52.133 liters. Please write this down so we can try some examples. Please write this down so we can try some examples. That's how it is, guys. Simple as that. Or let me slow, or I said someone said slow down. Please write this down so we can try examples. All we did here, guys, was convert. They want it into milliliters. We convert whatever's not a milliliter into milliliters. So we multiply. Remember, it's liters into milliliters, so I'm going to multiply by 1,000. 55 times 1,000 gives me 55,000 liters. Then I subtract from the 2, I get my answer. Then I said that, let's say they wanted us to convert it back to prove the point of saying that this 1,000 forms part of the liters and the 100 would form part of the milliliters. Then we'd convert it. Hence, we'd have an answer of 52.113 liters. That's all I'm saying, so that we can move on to an example. Who is done writing? Do we all understand? Are there any questions? Are there any questions? Do we all understand? Do we all grasp? Are we all understanding? Are we all getting it? Do we all understand? Who does not understand? Who does not understand? All right, I see we all understand. Okay, are we done writing, guys, so we can move along? I just want you guys to try at least 2 examples. Then I show you your homework. Then I show you your homework. Then I show you your homework. Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Fine.
I'm good. Do you have a question?
Yes, sir.
What is your question?
I don't understand the divided capacity.
Okay. Okay. When you are, remember I said when you divide by 1,000, you're going to put a decimal point behind the numbers,
Yep.
Then, because there are 3 zeros in 1,000, all I do, I go 1, 2, 3. So 3 jumps.
Yes.
Once I do my 3 jumps, I go 1, 2, 3. Where I stop is where I put my decimal point.
Yes.
Then I have a number of saying 52.133.
Oh.
Do you understand now? Remember that if you are going to multiply, going to do the other way around. You're going to move to the right. So because we're moving to the left, we start like that. But as in a situation whereby you just have a set number and you're multiplying, such as 55, putting 3 zeros, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So do you understand now?
I'm trying. I'm not so sure.
Okay, what don't you understand?
I don't understand uh when when minus comes in place.
Or when you're subtracting?
Yes.
Oh, here, remember that it's just 55,000 minus 280, 2,867, right? And you don't subtract from a zero, so I'd have to start to borrow.
What are you doing? Sneaking us.
So I'd borrow from here because all of these are zeros, right? And you don't subtract from a zero. So I'd borrow from the 4. And then because like I borrowed from here, this became a 10, right?
Yes.
And since it became a 10, my friend next door is still we're going to have a problem of subtracting. So I'd have to make this a 9 and give my 1 to this one. Correct?
Yes,
This
sir.
10. Now this became a 10, and I said, but there by the 7, by 0 minus 7, it's still going to be a problem. So I give the 1 over to this one, this becomes a 9. Then here it becomes what? A 10 itself. Then I say 10 minus 7 is what? 3.
3.
9 minus 6 is?
3.
9 minus 8 is?
1.
4 minus 2 is?
2.
And if 5, there's nothing to subtract 5 with, we just drop it, isn't it?
Pin down, yes.
Yes, so then the answer is 52,133.
Yes, milliliters.
Yes, milliliters. So you understand? Remember that what you must always have in your mind is that how many milliliters makes a liter?
A quarter.
How many milliliters make a liter? How many milliliters make a liter?
1,000.
Exactly. 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 Guys, our time is up. We did not have time to do this exercise. I wanted us to try out this exercise. Here is your homework. Are there any questions? Here is your homework. Any questions? We did not have time to try out an exercise. It's fine. It was most of recapping, but it's always important that we do. Always important that we do recap. So we did not have time to do an example, but it's okay. Are there any questions right now or anything that you guys need clarity in? Does anyone have a question or needs clarity in? So that, yes.
So tomorrow are we going to be doing the same thing?
No, tomorrow we're going to do something different. Tomorrow we're going to have fun. Tomorrow we're going to have fun. Don't worry what we're going to do. We're going to play a little game involving capacity. We're going to play a little game involving capacity. It's going to have you to think on your feet.
Okay. Aren't we going to be playing Kahoot?
Kahoot. Not
Yes.
yet. Not yet. But I have something more fun.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Any other question?
Hello, Sam.
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, sir.
I'm great. Your question is?
Sir, Tomorrow, are we going to continue with capacity?
No, we're going to do something involving capacity. And we also have to touch on volume. But I don't want to go too deep into volume, but we're going to touch on volume.
Yes, Sam.
All right, awesome. Thank you for your question.
Welcome, Sam.
All right. Anyone else? No questions at all. Our time has come to an end. Guys, thank you so much for attending the class. Thank you so much for being amazing. You guys are the best in the world, and I love you all. Goodbye. Stay blessed. Goodbye and stay blessed.